Good morning. I am an architect and an urbanist, and here this morning to share some thoughts on a very important subject society and culture in a rapidly changing urban landscape. I want to keep my talk focused to India. Today, we are growing in the country at an exponential rate, and much of this growth is happening in cities. About 30% plus of our population is in urban centers in India, and in the next 20 years or so, 50% will be living in cities. That's a big number because we are a big number. And as this 50% growth that we are going to see in the urban centers, some cities will grow exponentially faster than other cities. But all cities will grow. That's inevitable. I do not want to get into a speech which takes too many cities into account. I just want to focus it on two cities that are close to me. Chandigarh, where I spent my formative years and trained as an architect. Bangalore, where I practiced my profession. And these cities are interesting cities because if any of you who have been to Chandigarh or know about Chandigarh, planned, structured, grid-like, organized. Bangalore, whimsical, organic, everywhere, growing. And we don't know going where, but growing all the time. Very interesting contrast. And we look at these cities to see how society and culture are impacted as they grow. Just take a quick look. Now, 1960, believe it or not, Bangalore smaller than Chandigarh. And that's an amazing statistic. 69 square kilometers and 87 Chandigarh. 2025, 741 square kilometers, and that's 114. And that 114 might or might not include the twin cities of Panchkula and Mohali as well. So what does this do and what is happening here? Bangalore growing at 47% growth in population in 10 years. Chandigarh growing at 17% in 10 years. So surely Bangalore is India's fastest growth city by population count. No doubt about it. There are cities which have added more volume in terms of built area. Pune is one example. Hyderabad is another example. But a city that exceeds every other city in India in population growth is the city of Bangalore. And whilst we sit here and while we talk about all the issues that we face here, one has to reflect what is happening to society and culture in Bangalore. Because that's a good kind of a point for us to reflect on and see what we can do to improve things and what happens when a city grows rapidly. This is what is happening in Bangalore. This gentrification for sure. All of India wants to come down here, and walled greens, enclaves of excellence, which are cordoned off from the common areas of the city. It's a serious counterpoint to what happens in Chandigarh, where the greens are integrated, where we have sector development, greens interlace, the facilities, each sector is self-sufficient by itself. No, Bangalore is not like that. It's not only the residential enclaves which are cordoned off, we have that very magical word, IT campus. Now, what is an IT campus? An IT campus is a microcosm of some other place brought to Bangalore. So, a particular corporate or a multinational wants to replicate what they are doing in Silicon Valley. They bring it to the Silicon Valley of India. And they set it up. A large developer wants to have all these multinationals come into Bangalore, and in his part, he sets up a enclave which provides all the facilities, a microcosm of another place. It's true. The architectural language and what happens in each of these are reflecting the standards of what is being done elsewhere. There are playbooks on that. There is aesthetic directions on that. Let's have glass, let us have this much of efficiency, let us have this much of parameters. That is what is happening in the city of Bangalore. All the while, every minute, even now. The legislative aspects of the two cities. Now, while we worry about the losing forest cover in Bangalore, absolutely true. Forest cover is declining in Bangalore, but not that much in the city center, as you can see, the ones who are familiar with the city, that we have around the Vidhan Sauda area and Kaban Park area, very green. Similarly, but the great thing is it's in the heart of the city. In Chandigarh as well, you see there is the Legislative Assembly and the Secretariat and High Court complex called the Capitol Complex, but at the head of the city, fairly green. But what I am talking of is that in the city of Bangalore, keeping the center aside, what is happening is globalization of a very rapid scale. Now, we are all familiar with this. Many of us have made it to this forum starting early because we have learned to live with the Bangalore traffic. Whereas in a planned city like Chandigarh, as it grows and does not grow even at that exponential rate because the roads are planned well, so on and so forth, the traffic problem is not as acute as the contrast shown in these two pictures. Well, that's fine. The talk can go on, talk about water scarcity, we can talk about the air pollution, we can talk about what is happening, what is not good. But that's not the topic we are addressing today. Incidentally, it's very funny that as we lose the forest cover in the city of Bangalore, the forest cover in the city of Chandigarh is increasing. But paradoxes and irony sets in. The air quality in Bangalore, many times during the year, is still superior to Chandigarh. Why I'm bringing this point to the table is, look at things in a manner different. Okay, we love green, but green might not mean that the air quality improved. There are other factors as well. Now, coming to having established that yes, there are problems in our city of Bangalore or other growing cities as well, they are there. There is water scarcity problem, there is pollution problem, there is traffic problem. But the topic that we are focusing on today is that what is this growth doing to society and culture? As we grow, what are the examples that we see in Bangalore? What is working well? And let us think. It's a thinking point. There is no prescription for it. Where are we going with all this? So there are two aspects. There is culture, which is the bedrock, and culture can also be tradition. And everything is based in our culture. We say it's our culture, that word comes up. But then there is aspiration. And aspiration comes from the fact that we want to go and study abroad. I am one such case. We want to come back, and then, very rare, many of them still want to stay, and come back and apply lessons that we learned there to situations here. We can be sitting with our parents and grandparents, and they said, or they will say, everything is nice, very educated, but has forgotten our culture. My son and my child has forgotten our culture. So I write culture at the bottom, and I write aspirations at the top, and there is this tension. There is this pull. Aspiration drives growth. Growth drives life. Culture is the bedrock and the foundation on which this aspiration ideally should be anchored on. So what is it doing for us? What it is doing for us, it is setting up these contrasts. So we are here, and we have people who go in the morning to the temple. But believe me, these very same people are very comfortable partying at night. It's true. And then, the parents might say, what is this? What kind of daughter and son that I have? Look at the morning they dress like this, in the evening they dress like that. Now, the question is, why is this happening? And it's not only happening in the city of Bangalore. Bangalore I just took as an example. It's happening in all our large metros. And if you go down to our B towns, it's happening there as well. You go to Jammu, you go to Nagpur, you go to any of these places, and I've been there. This is what is happening in the evening. And it is getting fueled more and more from the aspirational angle. And this is what is happening in the markets. So you can be in a market and you can be very comfortably buying your fish or vegetables or whatnot, but you might want to be aspiring to be in that mall there. So what is right and what is wrong? What should we do and how much should we do is the point that then lands up on the table. Now, at our end, which is a large firm, as I said, more than 700 architects, urban designers, engineers, we ask ourselves this question. We are commissioned by a number of developers. What do they want? Gated communities. We are commissioned by a number of IT big corporates. What do they want? Gated communities. Like I mentioned, they want a microcosm of their universe, of their campuses, way in the US brought back, transported back to Bangalore, India, Hyderabad, our campus here. So what do we do? So what do me and my colleagues want to do in terms of the designing aspects of things? Of course, we believe in an equitable distribution of spaces. There should be large greens in the city. And many of us do sit in advisory boards and panels telling what can be done. But from a societal and cultural aspect, what should we do? We start designing a campus here. We'll have to educate the people who come in from abroad to tell them that our food is different. A guy who likes to eat a McDonald's once in a while typically also wants to eat a dosa or an idli or a tandoori chicken or a biryani. It has pungent smells. So we start modifying design. So if we modify design, if we can modify design by way of food, then why are we not modifying design and thinking deep on the design by way of materiality, context, place, memory, tradition, culture? Why are we just blindly following a playbook? So we start challenging the playbook and we say, okay, and things are helping us. For example, the US Green Building Council on a platinum rating will say that materiality or materials that come into a project have to come within a set number of kilometers in the vicinity of the project. Can we bring local traditions and craftsmen onto our projects so that they can be participating in the design of that particular project? We are doing that. And we are doing it very successfully. We are arguing against the rampant usage and replication and cloning that was happening in our own work about a decade back. We are questioning ourselves first to see what we can put on the table. And what do we put on the table? Back to that word, culture and tradition. Streets. Streets which are interactive. Streets where we can celebrate. Streets where there is a good interaction of people. Now, why am I saying streets? It's the counterpoint to large spaces. What we are arguing in some of our designs is that density and interaction is good. Leaving aside times like COVID. Density and interaction is good, where people can interact well, meet well, and therefore the outside space in our buildings, the space between or the in-between spaces is equally important. We are not planting buildings, projects onto the landscape oblivious of context, climate, culture. And that culture is the new Indian. The new Indian is aspirational. The new Indian speaking English to an audience that understands English, completely understands English, to an audience that is very, very comfortable. Maybe the largest number of English speaking people in this world are in India. It's not our first language. And then we come down to Bangalore. And what is Bangalore? It's a melting pot of cultures. It is a space where people meet, people interact. And while we speak of all the problems in this city, why is everyone coming here? Is a point that we have to think. Well, they say, oh, we all come to Bangalore because the weather is good. Yeah, the weather is excellent. It's probably the best in the country. What else? The next thing that people say, the people say the people are good. Now, who are these people? Diversification, complete amalgamation, complete celebration of each other's traditions and cultures. This melting pot becomes attractive because it offers us that variety. Capturing that ethos and essence back into projects is vital and important. I am not saying that we are capturing it in every project of ours. We are giving it one hell of a try. It's very important to celebrate this diversity, to know what it is all about, to move forward, keeping that aspect in mind, but not get rooted because we are cultural, I will make arches. No, we are designing with the bedrock of culture behind us, but keeping in mind the aspiration of the end user and the future. So now, and some campuses are getting built. We are bringing in materials. I don't know how much can be seen on the slide, whether we can celebrate and bring back our old Jali tradition. And then there is a whole other swing. So where we sit is at this confluence of modernity and tradition. That's where our work sits. But there are other works and aspects that can really hark back completely to tradition. But when you do any design, it has to be a design that takes into account aspects the client wants, the brief that the client requires to be met, the functionality cannot be lost. But I am arguing for the Indianness also to be brought in, and we are giving it a serious try. As the last slide, I want to leave you with this because people is what makes cities. Cities form people, but people make cities. And we have to design, when we sit and design for people, let us design for joy. Let us design for such exuberance. This is incidentally a shot actually of a holy day in Punjab University, pre-holy celebrations. So let us plan for joy. Let us plan for diversity. Let us plan for absolute exuberance in our spaces. When we do that and we enable that, then magic happens. Society and cultural aspects are fully come to the real aspect that they should reach, which is balanced with aspiration. So I conclude my talk by the simple line that when we design for people, the other aspects all will fall into space, including the aspects of culture and tradition. Thank you so much.